at the dire situation in Afghanistan. It is afflicted by multiple challenges, some inherited from history and others self-inflicted by ideological and political inflexibility. Pakistan has faced the adverse impacts of the series of crises Afghanistan has lived through during the past 40 years, hosting millions of Afghan refugees infected by its extremist groups and the inflow of arms and drugs. In the 20-year conflict, which ended in 2021, Pakistan consistently advocated engagement and sought to broker an inclusive peace. After the precipitate withdrawal of foreign forces in August 2021, Pakistan facilitated the exit of NATO's troops and Western civilians, accepted the temporary location of Afghans affiliated with the previous regime, and accepted 700,000 Afghans fearing persecution by the Taliban. History will attest to Pakistan's positive role. Madam President, it is not surprising that Afghanistan, which was so heavily dependent on foreign assistance for over 20 years, faces a humanitarian crisis and economic stagnation following the Western withdrawal. We believe that humanitarian assistance to the over 20 million destitute Afghans must be unconditional and generous. The response plan has received only 3.5% of the required 2.42 billion. The UN Strategic Framework for Afghanistan has received less than 11% of the 2.53 billion required for 2025. Allowing Afghan suffering is inconsistent with the call for upholding human rights in Afghanistan. The Afghan economy grew last year by 2.7%. It will continue to struggle without foreign cooperation and investment. Pakistan supports the call to unfreeze the assets of Afghanistan's central bank. This will revive the banking sector and end the cash transfers which are partially responsible for money flowing into the hands of terrorists. Afghanistan's trade could grow significantly if it resolved its problems with Pakistan, its natural transit and trade route, by ending cross-border terrorism, arbitrary construction of border posts on Pakistan's territory, and the smuggling of goods into Pakistan. The implementation of the shovel-ready connectivity projects, such as TTP, the gas pipeline, CASA 1000, the electricity pipeline, and the Uzbekistan-Afghanistan-Pakistan railway, could expand trade relations and commercial linkages and contribute significantly to economic growth and job creation within Afghanistan and the region. Madam President, the human rights situation in Afghanistan is another self-inflicted injury. Far from fulfilling its earlier commitments, the Kabul government has doubled down on its restrictions against women and girls. These are inconsistent with international norms and obligations and contrary to the laws and teachings of Islam. This was made clear by the Muslim world in the Islamabad Declaration on Girls' Education in Muslim Communities hosted by Pakistan on 11 and 12 January 2025. Madam President, the greatest threat to security and stability in Afghanistan and the entire region, and indeed the world, arises from the over 20 terrorist organizations present in Afghanistan. The Taliban government faces a challenge to its power and ideology from Daesh, ISIL-K. They are fighting Daesh, but obviously not very effectively, as evident from the numerous attacks claimed by Daesh in Afghanistan, as well as its attacks in Kirman, Iran, Moscow, Russia, and more recently in Peshawar, Pakistan. As noted in the 35th report of the monitoring team of the Al-Qaeda and Daesh Committee, Pakistani authorities successfully foiled attempts by ISIL-K terrorists to cross over from Afghanistan into Pakistan and prevented its external operations branch from establishing itself in Pakistan.